idea was, I don't know, maybe 50% safe or maybe less than 50% safe, because they were the Germans and the Polish police on the railroad. You had to go by railroad to the town where was his factory. Now his factory of course was taken away by the Germans, and he didn't, but he was quite rich, he had money, and he didn't want to risk his own life. So he hired me, gave me the false ID, and I was risking my life for him. Now what he wanted me to do, he said, you will go to Radom, the bigger town. There in the ghetto lives a partner of mine. He has contact with the workers of my factory. Those workers are stealing leather, and they were stealing chemicals that were used to make the leather. So you will buy the chemicals from them, and you will bring them to Chmielnik, and he was selling them to farmers who were making leather. Now you must understand that during the war in GG, everything was there was not enough of anything, not enough of clothes, not enough of shoes, not enough. Everything was kind of, you could get once in a year, you could get some of whatever. But anyway, so there was an underground economy. The farmers in GG, the Polish farmers, when they had cows, pigs, horses, whatever they had, everything was registered. When they slaughtered a cow, they had to deliver most of the meat to the authorities, and they could keep only a small part of it for themselves. So when they slaughtered the cow, the leather was left. I mean, not the leather, the skin was left. So they had some Jewish craftsmen who knew how to make leather. So they purchased the chemicals and they made leather, and they sold it in the underground economies to people who made shoes. That's how it works. So I said, okay, I'll tell you what, I figured that I didn't have much hope that you will survive anyway. So I thought, okay, I'll take the risk.
So at this point, had you heard about the concentration camps? About what was going on?
Yes, at that time, I knew I had contact with the ghetto in Warsaw. And in the ghetto in Warsaw, one of my uncles and my grandparents and some cousins lived in the Warsaw Ghetto. Now, you know, the Germans were so well organized that even the mail, the post office, were working, and letters came. You could write a letter in the ghetto and put it in a box, mailbox, and they were sent to other people in another ghetto. You know, because that was the old organization. When you had an address, it didn't make any difference if it was in ghetto or non-ghetto. It was delivered. So I knew that my family in the Warsaw Ghetto, they didn't do very well, and so I decided, so I accepted the offer of the guy, and I started traveling to Radom and purchasing the chemicals. That, by the way, that was my first contact with original chemicals. Before, I only learned in the school about chemicals in the lab. But so I made a couple of trips, and I purchased bags of leather making chemicals. I don't remember the English names of it. A bag, and I shipped them by main railroad, and then from a station there was a narrow track railroad to our little town. And my boss sold them. Now, okay. Hello, sir.
Yes.
Tell me, when would you like to make a break for lunch?
Kathleen, excuse me, called about 10
Sorry?
minutes ago. You heard the ringer, the cowbells.
Yeah, they're still at the thrift store, so
What?
they're probably still at that thrift store.
Well, yeah, let me call them. I thought
Okay, when they come back from shopping, all right. So I'll continue until you get news.
I think they'll be here any minute.
All right, okay, no problem.
Then we'll go down and eat.
No problem, I'm not hungry.
Okay.
When they come back, we will go to.
Okay, that's the plan.
So where did I stop?
I think you were at. It was your first time to ever handle any chemicals.
Yeah, okay, yeah, okay. Okay, one day, now in the meantime, my brother was taken, he was almost 2 years younger than me. He was taken to work out of the ghetto into a little camp, not concentration camp, outside, and they were working on a little river in water, very difficult conditions. And my boss, he could pay off not to be taken to work. But one day, somehow, they took him to that camp, and he broke a leg. He was brought back into the ghetto. Now, at that time, we started hearing rumors that the Nazis were already taking people out of the ghettos, and they didn't know exactly, but they suspected that they were killing those people. Now the rumors were very, very scary. So my boss told me, Andre, no, not Andre, I was Henry, Henrik. He said, Henrik, you go to another little town north of our town, where nobody knows you, nobody knows me, and also he had false Polish papers, false Polish ID. And he said, you will go there, you will rent a room from a Polish family, not in the center, but on the outskirts. And you will tell them that you will bring me because I have a broken leg or something, and he doesn't have a family, so I will come with him. Those people who I rented the room for, they needed money, so they didn't ask questions and didn't do anything. I paid well for the room, and they were very happy. So I hired a cart and a horse and took my boss to another little town, Stashov. And he also contacted those people who purchased the chemicals from him to come to Stashov and buy the chemicals. So everything was re-established and the business went on. And one day I decided that on my trips I'll go to the Warsaw ghetto. I'll go to Warsaw and I will smuggle myself into the ghetto. And I wanted, since I was making some money and they were in hardship, so I wanted to help them. First of all, I wanted to see my family since I could move. So I purchased goose skin. You know, geese had fat skin that was high calories. So I decided the best way to give them most calories in food, and the easiest way to hide it was to put it in pergament paper on my body, under my clothes. Because if I carried it, it may be suspicious. Anyway, I went to Warsaw, I went into the ghetto, and I stayed for a day with my uncle and his son. His son's first name was also Henrik, like mine. And of course they asked me, how are you traveling? I said, I have false papers. But I said, listen, my false papers are worth very little, because the probability that if I am for any reason arrested on a train, or not arrested but taken to check on a train by a police, by German police, they will immediately recognize that my papers are false. Or if I am arrested, they can check my birthplace, so they will discover immediately that my ID is false, and they will shoot me. So my cousin said, well, you know what, when I was taken to work by SS in Warsaw, and I was taken to work in the properties in the building of the Warsaw University, I saw somewhere a pile of documents of Polish students, their university IDs with photographs, and maybe you could use some of them. So now, okay, now he said, I took some of those documents, he hid it, and he brought it to the ghetto, put it in the cellar, and well, just after the war, people will find them, and the owners may get them back, because the Germans would destroy everything. So I said, okay, show me. He brought some, maybe 10 of Polish student IDs. So at that time I was 17, and the students were mostly 4, 6, 7 years older than me. So I glanced through the documents, and I selected the one that was of the youngest student, because I would have to, I didn't know exactly how I will do it, but I imagined that I would have to take off the photograph, put my own photograph, and I wanted to look, older than I was. But it was easiest to look at the youngest one. Anyway, the document that I selected was in the name of Andrzej Pradzyński, born in Osiek, I took it home back to Staszów, to G, where I went back home, where I lived with my boss Kostek, and I put it away. Shortly after that, the German administration issued an order, and published it everywhere, that every Polish person in GG had to register at the home, at the town, how you call the government of a town?
Oh, okay.
How?
Council or mayor,
Sure. Oh, excellent.
government of a town.
Yeah, the mayor.
I'll turn it
Mayor.
up.
Okay. Every Polish person
No, it's going very, very well.
in GG had to register, come, bring 2 photographs
No,
and a birth certificate and give fingerprints
be there about 5
of a document of a new Polish ID that was in Polish and German languages,
Sort of. Okay.